Sup guys, and welcome back to another T-Pose development video. This video would just be like laying out our town, building up some buildings, and laying out the little foundation of what we're going to be working on in the future. Next up we'll be building houses and stuff like that. So transforming at the moment hurts a bit too much, so I guess I'll charge up this way. Help me. Alright guys, I built a bunch of stuff on camera, off camera. Jeez, this is bad. Cause honestly talking's bad, but I wanted to give a bit of a quick update. So, if you look over here, I've been building a, let me pull a bit of this over to the side so you can see a bit more. Alright, there we go. I've been building up this big dairy sort of section here. It's actually based off somewhere I used to live by. This sort of place here. Let's open it up a little bit so you can see. So imagine this, the place without this slope here in the back and without all the signs and so on all over the building. Seems to be matching, so I built myself a new garage. Got these pillars in now. And yeah, so sort of using all the assets I had used on past episodes, built on past episodes to build this little structure here. And I even built the structure that is next to it. The new tiles actually are these roof bits, so they're all made out of these little triangle pieces I've got here. Just to show what's going on here. I've got a few janky looking edges that look a bit funny, but for now I'm just trying to block stuff out. So essentially what I've got here, I've got these two tiles. So we've got like an end cap tile like this that clicks on. This is where the gutter will go, so it goes down on the bottom here. Then it clicks onto this more looping tile piece here that I can just tile upwards endlessly. As you see, when I click on this building, you can kind of see where the chunks. Oh, sorry, I was talking away from the microphone there. That wasn't so good. But this allows me to, you know, build like Lego, like we've talked about in the past. Oh yeah, I've also got these little end pieces here running up the edge of the building to cap it off nicely. I've also got these little tile pieces at the top for whenever my roof caps off, I can just slap these on top and it finishes it off, because the roof needs to be held together up there. I'm not actually entirely sure what these pieces are for, but it's probably to cover the gaps in the corrugated iron at the top here, so water doesn't leak down into it. To fill in the gaps here, I've just placed these big fat blocks that fill in this space here. Make sure not to save this, but yeah, so essentially I get left these little gaps because the triangles don't fill in the space, and then I just slot these big fat blocks in there, I guess. Again, sorry, I apologize for what I sound like. I sound pretty terrible, but I wanted to get this out there, and YouTube's algorithm kind of screws you over if you don't keep making videos, I heard, so I'm doing that. I also made these shutter style windows. I don't exactly know what they're called, but they got like all these glass panes running up and down them, and these guys here, I don't know what's happening. The windows are all pretty black at the moment, but I'll fix that later on. But these are meant to be painted over windows, so I'll change those materials up in a little bit. I've just sort of left everything as grey for now, but I'll go back in and paint in the colours and stuff as is. So I went around this building and sort of looked at how everything was going in real life. I didn't actually do the parking lines out front of this one, but as you see around the edge of the building here, I've placed all these don't park lines, a little depot at the back where they'll restock the shops here. And jeez, it keeps lagging like that. And employee parking out the back here. You know, when I worked at a supermarket, they didn't even have employee parking for us, so we had to actually park across the road. Sometimes in another supermarket's car park, it was good. So you know, it's nice seeing these guys actually have some parking for their employees. So yeah, that's the shop. It's just sort of, it's good fun sort of thinking about this stuff, like, oh, this store here, you know, figure you have a loading depot, and then like little door out back here for somebody to have a little smoke break or whatever people do, a little alleyway. These are all actually on the building, so I'm just kind of copying stuff, but using these little pillars here to break up the buildings so you can see like which building is its own store or whatever. And yeah, and with this guy, I was actually using a mixture of the tiles that we use here on the ground up here on these triangle roofs. And as you see, these blocks kind of just clip in with the roof, whatever. It doesn't really matter because you can't see it, right? And I'm just using the same technique I was using over there with the little triangle pieces that run up the roof to build this thing out and cap the corners off nicely. This is a great way to like blend your corners in and not show the seams just by covering this up. And what did I do here? Oh yes, I use these little roof caps here, and just place them along the edge here to make it look like this thing's actually integrated with the roof. Just a little cheapy kind of hack there to make it work. If you don't look too close, it actually works out pretty well. So I'm not entirely sure what is going on here. It's not so good. I've got a few issues happening. You can see where the mesh pieces are, and I'm not entirely sure what's going on. We've got what is this? This is the anti-aliasing, sorry, ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion, by the way, if you're not familiar with what ambient occlusion is it's a way of explaining it. When two objects get very close together, they sort of have a little bit of a shadow, and it helps integrate things into like objects together that are close together. You can't actually see it in this. Never mind, I just realized from talking that out, this could not actually be what I'm talking about. I'll explain that whole thing in another video then. This might be shadows interacting weird, and maybe I need to bake the lighting in the scene, and that might fix this up. No, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. There's also a few issues here where I tried to reuse tiles that have got, so I've got these pieces here that have got the lip at the top. But they obviously do not interact so well with these gutter pipes, so I'm going to have to rebuild that. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool actually seeing these pieces come together and building a few buildings out of them instead of them just being random shapeless bits so you don't really know what they are. I'll fill these roofs out with some vents and stuff like that. I've actually built a few, I just haven't brought them in yet. And yeah, more parking spaces and stuff. So be right back. Let me get the keys to my car and let's drive around and check out some stuff, and I'll blab about it a bit more. Hope you like my car. Here we go. Let's drive around. So what I've been doing is I actually shrunk this map a little bit. It's about 1/3 the size it was before. These sort of interesting road pieces here where you get a bunch of Z fighting going on. Z fighting is when you get two-dimensional objects that, you know, that are flat. They don't have any sort of volume to them. Polygons land right on top of one another, and it can't tell which one to draw first, so they kind of pop in and out, and you can't see, you know, that's what causes this effect. It doesn't know which one to render in front of the other. But this stuff will be fixed later. This is all just like temp road stuff. So what I've been doing is taking some of these roads and just blocking out a little section that I want to start modeling first before I go build out the rest of the world. So I've been using these Roadworks thing. Oh jeez, I have things in the ground, that's not so good. I've been using all those Roadworks pieces I built before to sort of block off these roads to give it a bit of thematic of, you know, that this is a work in progress and that stuff's going to be built in the future rather than there just being absolutely nothing over there. Here's these scaffolding things we built in, I believe, like possibly the first episode. Scaffolding will be buildings I have not yet built. So in this case, these scaffolding pieces all around here are all houses. So I don't actually have a house set just yet, but that is what I am currently in the process of building. So this will pop up in the next video. For now, it's all just dairies and roadwork signs apparently. Let's just drive along this road here. You'll see there's a bit of inconsistency with road. I've got my old road here combined with that easy road tool I was talking about before. That's pretty cool. Oh yes, this one here with all the actual wooden scaffolding is going to be a big What is this one? Sorry, I'm trying to gain my context. It's hard when everything's like a flat road, right? Oh, this one's actually an apartment complex. And I should have placed one right here, if you can see where my mouse is. Right in this area. Oh jeez, the camera flipping out, it's crazy. Right here, this is going to be a petrol station, so I've got to build up a petrol station kit. But first off, I'll start with a house kit, because there's a lot more houses in this scene, and as soon as I get those in, everything will stop looking so blank. Yeah, just trying to figure out what the biggest objects are first, and then bulking them out as quick as possible, and then, yeah, going from there and seeing what I need to work on next. This larger building here, all of these ones actually, so I've just kind of been placing the same dairy asset around everywhere, but all of this stuff around here is actually a big giant row of stores and things. There's a butcher in there, there's another petrol station, like I mentioned in another episode. There's 2 petrol stations competing with each other for some reason right across the road, and I still don't understand why people do that. I'm sure there's some reason though. And this is, I don't know, a grocery store or something, I can't quite remember. But these all get rebuilt with my little dairy modular kit. It's just placing these assets out actually takes a little bit of time, but I don't know, the process is fun. It's just hard when you've only got sort of 2 hours a night to work on this thing. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up here actually. I'll just sort of show you the size of the map now. Let me get out of this car UI here and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so this is the new map, and if I zoom all the way out here, oh, the fog's making this real out. Let me quickly turn this thing off. Where is this, like, rendering, lighting, settings, just bam, there we go, everything's visible now. So for some context as to what the map size used to be, so here's our little section we're working on here, and when you're inside it, it still feels pretty big, right? But this is going to be the map, and I will build and change things as I go and fill out the space more. But the reason I did this was having a really giant map, it's really hard to build all the content for it, and I would much rather have a map that's very small, that's got a lot of content sort of packed into it, and it's quite a fun place to drive around, instead of like a giant wide map with giant blank empty spaces and lots of repeating objects with, you know, copy pastes everywhere, because that doesn't really look like a town at all. You need some stuff to have a bit of soul in your scene, right? Jeez, I sound like shit, I apologize. Seriously, this is probably a terrible video right now. I just wanted to get it out there. So for a little bit of context of how large the map used to be, so from this building all the way back here, from this turning circle, all the way to this one over here, used to be about here to this building here. So as the map has like shrunk quite a lot. It used to be freaking ginormous. I didn't realize. So how I screwed up was I thought this tool, so you slap down a big terrain piece, in other words it's like a big plane like this, right? And then you generate your road on top of it. However, I didn't realize that the road didn't generate using correct measurements that are exported from the map. So it turns out that whatever size I set this plane to was the same size it would build the map to. So I actually had unintentionally built the map a lot bigger than it even was in real life, so that was a bad misstep on my part. So yeah, again, my bad for this sick video. I'll get my pathetic sick ass out of here. I'm just trying to hold back coughing and sneezing into the microphone right now. But anyway, I just wanted to give a quick update anyway. This probably isn't quick. I always say it's going to be quick, and it's never quick. If anybody is watching this, by the way, if you have any feedback as to like what stuff you want me to cut from videos, or things you find boring or whatever that I go over, or if you want me to explain anything else that you see here, pop down in the comments and just let me know. Or if you have any suggestions for future videos, things in game development that you're possibly interested in that you'd like me to explain. I've got quite a bit of experience. just let me know, and I'll happily make some content based on that, because I'm kind of in the dark at the moment. I don't really have much of an idea of what to build. There's not a whole lot of game development channels out there, so I don't have any reference to go off. So yeah, if anybody can help out with that, that would be absolutely amazing. So I'll leave you guys to it. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. See you guys later.